Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Jim Zukin, Chairman and CEO of Zukin Certification Services, which allows a SPAC to independently validate whether it has addressed the numerous readiness issues that can make the difference between de-SPAC and dissolution. Jim, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate being here.
All right, and thank you so much. And tell us briefly about your background.
Yes, after spending a few years at an M&A boutique on Wall Street, I joined and became a founding partner of Houlihan Lokey, Howard & Zukin. That was in the late 70s. There were three key milestones that I want to share with you from my days at Houlihan Lokey. And the first one was the development of the standards behind fairness opinions, and to develop a practice that led standards and led the fairness opinion market for many, many years, even to this day. Now, the second one, which was in around 1986 or 87, was the introduction of a new form of a solvency opinion. This form had three tests. And the third test was that the leverage company could cover its debt as they became due. Because of that test, the AICPA put out rules, the accounting firms dropped out of the solvency practice, and Houlihan Lokey became the major provider of those opinions, leading the marketplace again for many years. And I played a key role in developing the opinions themselves, the analytics behind them, and the marketing of them. There's a third area that I wanted to mention that many people do not know about my own career. And that was at Houlihan Lokey, I created, with the help of many others, a sovereign debt advisory group. This group restructured the external debts of over 22 countries in a bit over a decade. During that period of time, we refined the rapid sequencing approach to restructuring. This means in restructuring that you restructure all of the claims in parallel. We use that same process relating to the elements in solvents in SPACs.
Right. What is ZSPAC readiness certification?
Well, first of all, it certifies that the SPAC and the target achieve public company readiness. It is an oversight framework. As we define readiness, it is 4 elements and 30 components. We array them on what we call the ZSPAC dashboard. Think of the dashboard as having a timeline on the left. It has the silos of the 4 elements, and then it has what we describe as the dialogues. The dialogues are provided for the independent directors to have dialogues with the SPAC, the target, and the various advisors. It is a little bit complicated because there is the initial board of the SPAC and with its own independent directors, then the transition, and then the board of the target for and the SPAC for the business combination, where the SPAC's capital, net of redemptions, is combined with the target, and that then becomes the operating public company.
So, Jim, I have a question for you. Why is public company readiness in question? I'm sure you found 2021 pretty interesting for that.
We certainly did. And here is what we found to be the central reason why so many SPACs are not ready when they enter the public markets as an operating public company. And that is because in a regular way IPO, it is up to the underwriters to centralize the readiness process, bring in the lawyers, the accountants, and others, and they may have a year or two to do it. In the SPAC, the underwriter role is only to raise the capital, the blank check. They do not play a role in readiness in any meaningful way. Think of it as readiness then being decentralized. The lawyers, the accountants, and others play their essential role. Meanwhile, the sponsor is identifying, diligencing, negotiating, closing the business combination, and most important of all, particularly today, is arranging the institutional, the pipe capital that is so necessary in filling the hole left by these huge redemptions.
Right. So raising standards for SPAC business combinations, understanding it is early days. How would you describe the market reception thus far?
The market really likes the fact that we are centralizing oversight, that we are issuing a SPAC readiness certification that describes what we are doing and is available for including for delivery to the shareholders during the comment period before the shareholder vote. In terms of market reception, the leading law firms, the leading accounting firms, the leading insurance providers, and of course Nasdaq, as well as the several SPACs that we have talked to, all see a need for this service, and they have expressed great support for us, for the way we have described it, and for the various tools, including our handbook that we provide for the independent directors, because at the end of the day, the independent directors are in the hot seat. Oversight is their responsibility.
Yep, well, it certainly is encouraging to hear, Jim. Appreciate your thoughts. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.